Good morning. So this is the Yukon map which we looked at, and um, in the feed today we're going to be talking about the CarMax. So I just wanted to point out some of the stuff with the CarMax Group. Yeah. So Whitehorse is right down here, and there's a highway that goes right up along here. You get to CarMax, which is right there, and right beside CarMax, this one here, which is marked UKC. This is part of the Carmacks Group. So there's some here, there's some here, and there's actually some up above the map there. And with the Whitehorse, I actually pointed this out the other day when I was talking about Pilot Mountain, which is right here. Again, Whitehorse, and then just to the south of Whitehorse, there's a little blob of UKC. So, okay, sounds good. So, I'm actually at my day job right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this live streaming thing. All right, so I've got the map here, but I also have another, and this is like totally like my version of the cozy fort kind of days. And just so you know, if people are going to ask, I do have a tremor in my hand, so it's nothing about being nervous. But I have a couple of things I wanted to show you because I have some apps that would allow to look at the CarMax Group so live. Okay, so I took a closer picture of the um, CarMax Group, so I'm just going to open up that photo. Okay. So again, so we got Whitehorse. Actually, I will do some drawing on here. So I'm just going to draw where the CarMax is. So here's one little area right up here, and here's another little blob. There's a lot of stuff that's separating where the actual CarMax Group is. There's a little bit over here, and then again north of Whitehorse. This is what I was showing. So I did there's actually a pretty big chunk right here. There's that, and then see if I can do this sideways. It will let me do it. Okay, so right down here, there's a little bit more. And let me just double check on the actual map. So I'm just going to switch this to yellow. So Whitehorse is right here. And then CarMax, let me look on the map here, is right. CarMax is right up here. And it's a few hours drive from Whitehorse to CarMax. Okay. Anyway, that kind of gives you a sense of the Carmacks Group. It is spread out all over the place. But if you look at the stratigraphy, like this area right here, so I pointed out east of Whitehorse, there's Grey Mountain, and it's part of a succession of, like there's coral reefs, and then there's some other things in there. And that's all kind of in here. And then there's other things, and then like these plutons here, they actually came up later. So it's a jumbled mess, but at least this will kind of give you a sense of what it actually looks like. I'm just going to save this, and then I can zoom in here. There you go. So here's Whitehorse, where I was filming, and this is Pilot Mountain. And then to the south of Whitehorse, there's a little thing here, which is by the lake there. And then this is Lake Labarge, which is, if you ever heard the story, the cremation of Sam McGee. Very strange things done in the midnight sun by the men and women for gold, toil for gold. Anyway, Lake Labarge is where that's at, which is just north of Whitehorse. And all right next to Whitehorse, this stuff with the stripes here, that is part of that succession where there is all the different fossils and that. So the limestone, and that is part of Grey Mountain. And then up by Lake Labarge, there's what's called Lime Peak. Anyway, now that I've kind of shown you that, I just wanted to show you another app which I really like to use. Let's see if I can find this. Here it is. It's this one here called Avenza Maps. And you Whitehorse. And this is basically a more detailed version of this map, which if you want, so like where we are with Whitehorse, where are we again? Yeah, so Whitehorse is right here, and then this is much more detailed, and then you can get right into, this has my actual location. So this pink part here is much smaller on this map, but the nice thing about this map here is that it comes with dates, and then it shows you, so for instance, I showed you Grey Mountain. It's actually technically called Canyon Mountain, but most people know it as Grey Mountain, and it's part of this Upper Triassic 2. And then you can come over here to read about the Upper Triassic 2, and it's part of the Hancock, either Formation or Hancock Group. It talks about the massive thick-bedded limestone, and then all over Whitehorse there is tons of this Canyon Mountain, or tons of this Upper Triassic 2. But it's part of like I mentioned earlier, it's part of a succession, so there's, and they all have different names. So here we go, Upper Triassic. So we have the Triassic 1, 2, and 3. And it's the Casca Formation, the Hancock Formation, and the Mandana. But it's all part of the same thing. So, you know, you're getting the Grey Wacky, and then conglomerate mudstones, and then you get the thick-bedded limestone. And then in here we've got siltstone, more Grey Wacky, limestone. But they're just different areas. Anyway, so with the Whitehorse, which I was mentioning about the Carmacks Group, it is on here. Let's see if I can find it. Again, I will edit this. And thanks for the 4 guys who are actually watching this. I have to look, see what the CarMax is called here. I know that it's South Whitehorse, so let's see what it's called south of Whitehorse. Because I was down there the other day. Oh, and in case you're wondering here, this blue stuff, this is where it becomes the Cache Creek Train. And that's got some really interesting stuff there as well. Massively fine crystalline, locally gray limestone. And maybe I'll point that out on the map here. So again, with Whitehorse, since you're there, if you go south of Whitehorse there, you get to a place called Carcross. And then this is where these are right here. This is part of the Cache Creek Train, and I believe it goes up into this area. Although, if you watched some of the other episodes that Nick has posted, one of the guy from the Yukon Geological Survey, what's his name, Maurice, he was saying that they're now calling this area the Atlan terrain, and I'm not exactly sure what the differences are. Anyway, I just wanted to go back to here to what they call Cache Creek. Okay, where are we? Whitehorse is there, and then down there. Okay, Marsh Lake. Okay, so it's UKC1, and it's called CarMax. Yeah, there it is right there. And it's olivine basalt and breccia. So we'll see what he has to say with Stephen about, because I know that there was mention that can't be possibly tied to Yellowstone, although a bunch of there's basalt in there. I don't know if it's flood basalt, but there's definitely basalt in there. So as far as to what the ultimate cause or what the ultimate um, what led to these basalts, I don't know. I mean, another thing to point out here, and um, this right here, Miles Canyon, it's only 8.8 million years old, but this is all flood basalt. It's small, but it's essentially like a flood basalt type event. We've got Miles Canyon, which has got the columnar jointing, which is super cool. Anyway, now that I've found UKC1, I want to find it to the north. That may have changed. I don't know. Oh no, here it is. Pilot Mountain, right there. UKC1. So it's part of Pilot Mountain and Flat Mountain. But the nice thing about this program, I highly recommend getting this program, Avenza Maps. And especially if you're going to be coming up to the Yukon, or if anybody is here in the Yukon, you can actually, like with this one here, this blue dot, it's a GPS, and it shows you where you are. So, yeah, I've found it really handy kind of going out and trying to be able to locate some of this because of this Hancock Formation, the Upper Triassic too. I've been able to go around and find more of it. So there's a lot of this limestone around Whitehorse. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. We'll see you in the chat. Okay, I'm going to shut her down now. Okay, bye.